Hi, I'm Greg Burton, Executive Editor of the Arizona Republic. About 2 years ago, Tammy McLeod approached me with an idea to highlight the innovations and innovators in the biosciences who are bringing new technology and new hope to Arizona. No one could have imagined then how important it would be today to have more journalists on the ground and in the laboratories reporting on the community spread of coronavirus and the efforts to ramp up research on a vaccine to stop the disease. Thanks to the Flinn Foundation, we were able to hire 2 reporters, Amanda Morris and Alex Lee. They were in our newsroom when the first case of COVID-19 was diagnosed. Working with editors Diana Payan and Sean McKinnon, the Republic's Bioscience team is helping every Arizonan understand the high-stakes race to combat this pandemic. That's why partnerships like this are so important, both for our state and the state of journalism. We're excited to share with you just some of this important work. So come along, take a look with me.
The West Nile virus has infected well over 100 people in Arizona this year.
Huanglongbing is the Chinese word for it, which means yellow dragon disease. It's a bacterial disease which affects all citrus.
I told them at that point, use me however you need to. Let's find a cure for this.
Anything that we can do to get the science and research across in a way that's understandable.
I find viruses fascinating. And as we were studying them, we accidentally stumbled upon the fact that the virus was also a killer of human and mouse cancer cells.
And so my whole job is to really make science accessible and approachable for people.
Well, I always say complicated stories needs complicated tools to tell. In these circumstances, bioscience concepts are very complicated and it's not everybody are familiar with it. So it's really important to bring another dimension to it so we can visualize it for our readers so it's easier for them to understand what we're talking about and to convey what we want to convey to them.
This is critical because if we're going to be able to separate those with the infection from those that don't have the infection, we need to know who's infected.
Essentially, what happens is when the virus gets into the airway, it attacks the cells that line the surface of the lungs.
So we started reporting on this back in January, and I'm really grateful that we have this bioscience position right now because it's more important than ever.
What we have are robots that do all of this for us. Because, I don't think, given the burden that's coming, samples one at a time is going to get us there. We need to be thinking big and we need to be thinking bold.
My job is to produce 3D animations to help visualize some certain parts of the stories. For example, I'm working on a 3D model of a lung that being infected by the coronavirus so people can rotate and then to see how severe this virus can be.
So the stories that I'm covering right now with this pandemic cover vaccine potentials and treatment potentials, and it also covers how testing works. And these are things the public needs to know in order to figure out how to stay safe and also to figure out what sort of treatments and vaccines might become available and how to separate the facts from the hypothesis of science.
It's scary because I have to look at my Proteus kids and recommend them going on a drug that at the end of the day, you think it's safe, it seems safe, there's not really any side effects, but there's just a lot more testing to be done. It's just life as a guinea pig.
Bioscience itself that literally changes the world we live in. It modifies the environment, it modifies our bodies through treatments.
And I think it's really important because it's about every one of us as human beings.
Thank you again. This was just a small part of what we can do together, and I hope you see the potential for the future of partnerships like this.
All of the work you just saw would not have been possible without this generous grant. And I'm really grateful that we're able to cover these underreported important stories in an in-depth way.
So I feel really grateful that Flinn Foundation funded the position of XR developer and 3D artist, which shows your foresight and vision. And it's a great chance to showcase how VR, AR, and 3D storytelling can better help visualize and democratize bioscience to the general public.